Have you ever had the feeling of being watched? How often do you find yourself walking alone anywhere, much less in the woods, and suddenly you find out that all the sounds around you just stopped? No bugs, no bees or birds, and not even a frog hopping around the flowers right under the trees? What takes you away first is the purity and quality of life. This plays a significant role in these facts. The lack of sound around you is in the forest. It is a predicted point of view that a predator is in the area, someplace very close by. Did someone come and take all the sound away by raw force? I wonder if everyone has one of those days when you think you're going on an excellent venture. However, in the back of your mind, something steps off into your mind while on that long walk alone. Naturally, fear lands in your head, making the air rush around your head, crossing back and forth, all while you cross your fingers and toes for luck. Something just reached out, making you cautious of every move of your mind, racing fast. Nothing is farther from the truth than a nice walk in the woods. Like, hey, let's connect with nature and ask if it could. Take a breath of fresh air and let the sunlight light up our life a little. And let the lunar biosphere work on Earth's real problems everywhere else. Do you know how it is made up of thousands of particles inside our atmosphere of life? It's joined with us and our daily understanding of the woods while you stand amid the beautiful things there. Yeah, something primal was out there telling you to listen now. Your sixth sense is talking to your subconscious, young man. You picked the wrong day to wake up to remember how fun and lovely it is to walk in the woods. With all the fallen leaves all around you, plus so many beautiful wildflowers out here, just waiting to be picked to take to grandmother's house for her kitchen table at her home. There are so many beautiful trees with so many beautiful leaves on the trees. The city of Pinehole was all around me. The sounds of woods were calling out my name for the joy of a lovely sunny day. Oh yeah, with all the sound effects too. How could anyone with ears not listen to the delightful sound of nature around you? Spoiler alert. This caveat opens the door to its limitation to another level regarding the price of being so deep in the woods alone without a weapon, not even a simple pocket knife. So picture this. I'm strolling along, having no care in the world, feeling profound meditational effects around me like the atmosphere is reaching out, searching around for something I can't place my finger on when a giant burst of dread, all of a sudden, hits you in the face. Just then you realize that your reality has taken all woods you ever walk in for granted, and now you have to make a fundamental paradigm change your algorithm for a process or set of rules for which any action you might follow in calculating this problem-solving operation, your mode of operation. Now you have to check every tree from the bottom to the top, because it has started to look like it will be auditioning for a significant role in a gigantic blockbuster late-night movie. Now I'm looking around myself and noticing all the trees twisting their limbs and branches at different angles. Many of them are reaching toward the ground. Almost all were reaching out to take you down. Anyone walking in its path in seconds without you noticing in time. The forest isn't a place for play. It was almost like the trees were trying to grab any onlookers who were not paying attention like me. Okay. Maybe I should have just stayed home, put on some popcorn and have a tall can of beer and just maybe watched a blockbuster movie instead. No, not me. I had to be in the woods that day with my head on a swivel. With this deep dread, I kept walking, not knowing how ignorant I was. I'm usually with my family and friends. Not this day, no, not me. I was alone without anyone with me today, and without any designed emergency equipment for help. Now you know the people we all know, like the stubborn badass bitches? Yes, these people are alpha-type behavioral types personally, who are the kind of bitches who take advantage of every person that moves in right next door. While you are a good-natured person around the neighborhood, your yard is always kept clean, but people next door keep trash in their yard, looking like a total mess. Yes, the garbage is thrown out of their back door. We all know the type of bullshit, just like their pantyhose and used condoms thrown to the ground along with lots of beer cans, too. We are talking all about these individuals who are mess-up-in-the-head type. Yes, we are talking about so many amoral individuals living among us all around you, holding on to their trash like cash for that future block party. Now think of all this garbage just sitting in a bunch, getting ready to blow into the next-door neighbor's yard just out the back door of their houses. I mean, how terrible is thinking type of shit for brain-type people no good for the way they feel? Just let the next guy pick it up, not me, after which I had just purchased this new home for my family with a pool out back too. Then, it hit me deep down inside my soul. I heard it. It is the loudest howl from a dog-headed type howling you ever heard for any being. It wasn't your dog next door type, yes, that lovable, adorable poodle type of dog everyone saw and watched on Disney type made-for-TV movies. This isn't your superhero dog howling at moon type of dog, but a loud animal you have never seen before right next door type. But sometimes that's about to change your life forever type of creature. Or it is a Superman-type old being of the past. And by the way, he can genuinely leap like a frog 10 to 20 feet way over your head in a single bounce. Still, the type that sends ice down your spinal cord, then right down into that crack of your ass, the backside ass crack of your asshole. Anyone within proximity hearing that loud sound will automatically, this definitely will make urinate. Then shit will squirt out their ass, which will make them defile themselves and defecate all over themselves. Yes, not to mention how you will urinate too. Just thinking about how polarized you would be in this scenario. With this, you will have to rethink and question every life choice you've ever made, both now and in the future. Now, with this happening all around you, that is the time of your life when it just flashed before your eyes. Now, you really, at that second fight or flight hits all your brain cells in the head, that when you stop and look and cowardly start thinking right now is an excellent time to run down and start running for your life. Now this very second, you don't stop and think that your heart is now racing 100 miles a minute out of control. You feel like you beginning to have a heart attack at any moment. You know that your skeletal figure isn't like any bodybuilder. You know you aren't in the best shape after eating that big bowl of spaghetti noodles right before you enter the woods for the day. You feel like you are in an honest-to-goodness nighttime nightmare. The night twilight light is now setting into the back of your mind. It was like a different sky as I ascended way farther than he had hoped. It was way more profound, not knowing how big the thicket scrubs were, too. It is so early in the morning that you can feel how the air quality changes. How the weather has changed a hell of a lot, too, so damn ominous feeling making you sweat this unbearable feeling of dread. This night was unforgettable. Howl pierced the woods, sending shivers of wet, sweaty, gooey, cold stillness, like shivers of cold, freezing water, pouring down into your ass crack right at the end of your spinal cord. Now, this is when your spinal cord, the tube-shaped bundle of the nervous system that runs from the base of the brain down the back through the spinal canal, also known as the vertebral column. You can't even try to dismiss it as a trick of the wind, being pressed on and unaware he was not alone. Shadows danced among the trees, and the weight of unseen eyes bore down upon you, plus having so many rocks being thrown right at your head. Suddenly, a rustle in the underbrush stopped you cold. A hulking figure emerged, its matted fur and eyes glowing like embers. It was massive, a creature born of a nightmare, a twisted blend of dog like a man and werewolf. Panic surged that feeling throughout the woods, the sound of padded feet in the ground flooding and hitting the roots of trees. Right at that moment, your body starts breaking down to betray you. The creature stalked closer to you, saliva running out of its mouth and down out of its jaws. The nasty saliva was going into your face and mouth, too. Plus, all over my eyes, its breath hot and stinky, breath an ugly, nasty bunch of smells like millions of thousands of assholes with so many cracks releasing these smells at the very same time, pouring these ass gases letting out tens of hundreds million of pounds of ass-crack gases into our microcosm like atomized, compressed exposition of antimatter into the atmosphere that has built a wall funk now entirely covering the woods, plus your entire body and soul. So what is really about to go down is all these sprays of different types of aerosols are in the air. All the while you are walking right under them in the woods, right under all the trees, just like the various types of sprays you place on crops at home right in your garden. From the air, you have to smell air pollution too at home well into the future, which will eventually cause you to have cancer well before the next year ends. Unlike any late-night movie, this primal fear, a growl lunged and clawed at least 4 or more meters in length, reaching for him. This dog-man was attempting to claw right for his skin and flash, just while ducking down through the thickets of the trees. Now listen for the next howl that echoed behind him, telling him how far it was on the same path, chasing him through the woods. So damn relentlessly and mocking his every move in the woods. He stumbled inside this more extensive clearing when he thought he'd escaped. There, the ground chilled, and the trees whispered. More of the beasts stood more werewolves before him, but now more nasty, smelly assholes, yes, really smelling clusters, stood too tall. Of them, it was 8 feet or more than any domestic dog at home. These dogs were all apex dogmen. All but one were much taller than all. He was around 10 feet tall. Right before your eyes, turn up and look at him. You started to back down and look up and freeze deep inside yourself. You now know you are looking at an alpha dogman on the hunt for your blood type. Yes, he is joining in on the scare of his life. He could now only pray to the Lord our God for help. These phantoms of the woods were nothing but lost souls. You realize it might be too late. However, he thought he was never the apex man of the woods after all, but you could be a meal meant for the entire pack to be left alone for these creatures. Nightly meal. How many lives did the city of Pines Hole claim? And how many men, women, and children had to lose their lives to this alpha dog in the woods? These women and children have become authentic fatalistic meals because they craved some human meat these past days, which was not the main meal. In which case has the dog man been eating whole bodies, leaving nothing without a trace to be found. At this point I was next in the line of fire, just like my past of all my ancients who came before me who became missing, just like they did before me. Out of nowhere, I hear a rustle in the trees. These dogmen were flying through the limbs like birds but doing something else. They were all crawling so fast that it looked like they were flying in the trees. My heart just about stops beating. I think, great, now I'm about to be kibbles and bits mini-bites snacks for this dog, whatever is that out here. And then it appears. A creature. Not just any beast, but a hulking, matted fur, glowing red-eyed werewolf. The alpha dog is the beginning of all beings. Yes, werewolves. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of older adults of renown. Like the Bible, Jesus refers to himself as the Alpha and Omega, which means the first and the last, or the beginning of the giants of the past and all werewolves. Like many ancient Egyptian deities, with the head of a dog, Anubis assumed different roles in various contexts. Depicted as a protector of graves as early as the first dynasty 3100, 2890 BC, Anubis was also an embalmer. By the Middle Kingdom, Setar 2055 to 1650 BC, he was replaced by Osiris in his role as Lord of the Underworld. One of his prominent roles was as a god who ushered souls into the afterlife. But a werewolf, a dogman creature, always tasted your insides as a delicacy like your heart and lungs. At that very moment, I'm frozen in time. Panic hits me like a freight train. I'm standing there, mouth agape, praying to every mythology. God, I can think of help. Dear God, Lord, please help me. No joke, I last entered a church for kids at Sunday school classes. I didn't have any backup plan. I told myself it's an absolute nightmare when you're face to face with a falling angel, a real-life dog-man of renown. Everyone told you that these nightmares don't exist, but yes, there's always a caveat to their story. Only family members are informed about these beings, and many older adults are behind closed doors. And only in very low tones, never to be told to kids in the public school system these days, except for St. Nicholas. Only around Christmas time, now at this very moment, he came back to earth in his head, only to find out this dog headman had its claws out. A prominent granitic colossus dogman was an enormous tooth-barding thing from the Bible staring me in my face. I said, "Okay, this is it. This is how so many have died too." But something kicked in, and I bolted out of the way just enough to be missed by the claws. I'm dodging through the trees like a jackrabbit running for its life. What did I do to duck, hive, and twist through the trees like a wild game bird trying to free itself and escape? These creatures aren't just there for decoration. In the woods, some types of guardians of the past are out for animal blood. Whether humans or not, mainly soft body parts are preferable. It doesn't matter. Afterward, they will treat you like a piece of beef jerky just for fun in the hunt for humans. I keep telling myself I must not stop running for my life. The howls echo behind me, mocking me like a mouse running in mace before he reaches a trap. You thought you could escape, but just think again. I stumble into a clearing and the woods are in on it. The air gets cold and the trees start whispering. I think, great, now I'm in a horror movie with a plot twist. And there it is again, the beast. But wait, it's not alone. Oh no, now there are more of them. A pack of werewolves looks at me like the last meal at a get-together, and that's when it hit me. I'm not getting anywhere. They are right behind me. This gigantic being is here to take me away. These creatures from the city of Pinehole are here to take as many lives as they can each year. Now, at this point, I'm trying hard to calm my heart rate down so I don't have some heart attack or stroke. I'm just another body, a part of the bigger picture, and I am listed, joining the ranks of bodies of everyone else lost to the woods who thought they could wander off in no man's land and everything would be all right. Just like hundreds of millions of years past, so many lives have been lost, and many people in the past have lost their lives. To only join in the lives lost to the storybooks of time in our history books of the time. Just like time itself, it always repeats itself. In these woods, just as I knew, this was how it would end simultaneously, just like so many others. I was praying so hard that it wouldn't end this way. And just as I said, these woodsmen came out of the woods. These men just about surrounded the dogman. They all had shotguns when I noticed each one of them was carrying. Each one had with them a 12-gauge shotgun bullpup rotary-type shotgun. Also, they had with them 44 mag handguns, and they showed up right behind me. Just picture this here. They were all right behind me in the woods and showed up in force with their guns at the ready, after which was mayhem. I wasn't the only one that pissed all over myself. One of the head leaders of the team said out loud, "Men, aim high for the head, shoot for the head if you can, or we will be toasted bread." He said that all of us should shoot for effectiveness with our bullet placement in the face or head. We will all die. We will be rounded up by them like hamburgers and sorted up like boxes in a warehouse. Let's kill these dog-headed bastards. Yes, these bitches must die today, right here, right now, guys, he said. I'm just standing there and praying to the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. God is the greatest. He told himself, I will join the nearest gun if I live through this today and stay alive. So if you ever think about strolling in the woods or taking another walk in the park, trust your instinct. What's next is the hair on the back of your neck standing up. Don't be another tall tale told by many who take more extraordinary seriously. The city of Pines Hole is another cautionary tale for the next brave soul who thinks nature is all sunshine and rainbows. Remember, not all woods are made for travel through. They are unsuitable for touring-type groups. Sometimes, the trees just wait for their next victim, making your life a living hell if you aren't ready. If you enjoy my content, please like and share the video. Please help me out with the tax write-off through my PayPal account. https www.paypal.com. Instant commerce/checkout 2UUP94 CUVHSF8. The Pine Hole/horror story. Thriller. While You All Alone, Nature Gone Down, In Another Directions, Surviving the Great Outdoors.